o'clock on this Wednesday morning, July 9th. Thanks for joining us on ARC Rochester. I'm Abi Fridmann.
And I'm Dan Schrack. We have a jam-packed 2 hours to get through, so let's run down what we have brewing for you this Wednesday.
So this morning, we're looking ahead to Rochester's biggest celebration of Pride. We'll be joined by reps from Trillium Health and ESL Federal Credit Union to give us a look at what you can expect for this year's parade and festival.
And then our resident garden guy, Mark McLean, is back for this week's From the Ground Up. And this morning, he's going to be showing us some easy garden-to-table recipes with the help of nutritionist Alyssa Strassman.
And then coming up later, a concert for a cause. We'll learn more about a new event series from the Genesee Valley Council on the arts, aimed at protecting arts funding. We're going to talk about it, this week's concert, and the local bands featured on the lineup.
But before all of that, we've got to talk about that forecast, because those temperatures, they are once again on the rise out there today. Some warmer weather conditions. Meteorologist Marty Snyder joins us now from the Weather Center with what we can expect and a preview of that forecast. Hey there, Marty.
Hey, good morning, guys. Yeah, we're going to see these numbers move pretty well over upcoming days. Today's going to be a pretty comfortable day for us. Pretty quiet to start. You can see some cloud cover staying a little stubborn right now. And it's going to be a story where we go back and forth between some cloud cover and some breaks of sun today. 68 currently. And as we head through today, we'll see these numbers rise back through the 70s by noon, probably 77 at that point. Again, some breaks of sun on and off. We'll close in on 80 for a high, may exceed it by a little bit in a few places, but at least some of that sunshine on and off today. But watch for the longer term. These numbers really start to move then. I think we'll be in the mid 80s for highs into Thursday and Friday. Tomorrow, that risk is there for a pop-up shower or thunderstorm. I think a lot of the day is going to be dry, but just keep in mind that slight risk will be in the picture. And then as we head towards the upcoming weekend, those numbers continue to rise up a little higher. Could make another run at 90 by Saturday, pull back slightly into Sunday and Monday, and then could be near 90 again heading into Tuesday of next week. So overall, warm day today, but notice how each one of these days we gain a little more as we head closer to the weekend, guys. So a lot more midsummer-like weather is still in store for us.
Yeah, and a few chances of 90.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not even going to say it because I don't even want to jinx it.
No, but you got to say it now.
Okay, so I feel like in the spring, we had really nice weather during the work week, and then the weekends were garbage.
Yep, very rainy.
We've kind of made up for it for the past few weekends of summer.
Yeah, stop there. Quit while we're ahead. Don't jinx it.
But you know what I mean.
Yes, 100%.
Right. No, it has improved. The weekends have been looking pretty nice for us, and this one, overall, not too bad. Probably Saturday, maybe a little better than Sunday, but pretty hot for that time frame as well.
Pool party, my place. Be there at noon.
Cannonball.
Margaritas. All right. Thank you, Marty.
Sure.
Let's go off the top now and start with things that have piqued our interest this morning. I will start things off today. You know that voice in your head that tells you right from wrong? It's called a conscience. Believe it or not, everybody has one. You also might picture it like the angel and the devil sitting on your shoulder, guiding you to be the best version of yourself. Really, it just depends. Pinocchio, you had Jiminy Cricket, right? But lately, it seems like people are ignoring that voice in their head or just brushing off the angel on their shoulder. Instead, they're doing what they think is in their best interest, saying whatever's on their minds or doing something that'll get a laugh. And that is certainly the case in Northeast Pennsylvania. Here we go. Police investigating a kidnapping, a robbery of someone's most prized possession. It's not an antique watch, a beloved pet, or a family car. It's a life-sized Ronald McDonald statue that once lived inside the community's fast food restaurant. There he goes, all captured on video. You can see this group of clowns, literally, picking up Ronald, playing with him, and sliding out the side door and running through the parking lot, Ronald in tow. All of this unfolded on Sunday during the lunch rush while employees were busy working in the packed kitchen. At first, the employees didn't even notice, but then the general manager says he got a text that said, "Where's Ronald?" with a picture of the missing, where the wall where Ronald once sat, clearly missing. They checked the security cameras. They saw the crime unfold, just like you're seeing right now. And they were furious, but most of all, confused. The general manager said, usually when you think of theft, you think of somebody taking cash or other expensive belongings. But Ronald, what are they going to do with him? It's not like something you could easily sell or keep as a decoration in your house. It's going to stand out. And this isn't something that you could buy at HomeGoods or IKEA. There is no denying the fact that this came from a McDonald's location. I know what you're probably thinking. It's McDonald's. They could easily replace the statue. The company certainly makes enough money. but this Ronald McDonald is actually hard to come by. Those statues aren't made anymore. The general manager says it's also a privately owned franchise, too, and it's the owner's first store that he ever had. Inside that store, everything has a meaning. It's all sentimental. It's like purchasing your own home, renting it out as an Airbnb, letting people visit and stay there, and then realizing they stole your television. So the store employees are pleading with these individuals, let's show them on camera one more time, these individuals, to bring Ronald home safely. There he goes. He was sitting crisscross applesauce, hanging out. If Ronald is returned to the restaurant, the staff plans to throw a welcome home party for him. As for the thieves there, you have to wonder if it's really worth it in the end. Maybe these are just dumb kids who got into some dumb stuff. But at the end of the day, it is stealing. And how embarrassing to have to face charges for stealing a Ronald McDonald statue. At the end of the day, you have to listen to that voice inside your head. We do know right from wrong. It's time to start acting like it.
Bunch of dummies. It's going to end up on their college application.
Yeah.
That's what teenage dirtbags look like.
Teenage used dirtbags.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
those are fighting words
There was
right
another
there.
term I wanted to use, but I don't think it's very nice.
Probably not. But how?
It's disgusting.
It's disgusting. It's sad.
Seriously.
I mean, everybody thinks this is, I'll get off my soapbox in a second, but people think that they are entitled to everything.
Yeah.
They see something that they want and they are just ready to take it.
The level of respect for everything and anyone has gone from like a 9 or an 8 at best to like a 3.
Yeah,
And it's
so
sad.
It really is. You're supposed to
just
treat
sad.
people. You're supposed to treat everybody with kindness and compassion. And you think of the golden rule, right?
Yeah.
Are we not teaching that to kids anymore?
Well, and think of the little kids that go into that McDonald's and take pictures with Ronald McDonald.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everybody's got those pictures.
Yeah.
That's just, I hope they get caught.
Whoa.
I hope they get caught.
All right.
Let's move along to mine. For my off the top, I want to talk about a story that's straight out of a movie. That film, the classic 1993 movie Jurassic Park. Dennis Nerdy, greasy, overworked, underpaid. He's the guy who disables the park security system to steal dinosaur embryos. We remember this. We find them hiding in a fake Barbasol can. Remember when he tries to escape that massive storm, crashes his Jeep, gets out and gets spit in the face by a Dilophosaurus, or however you say it? The total chaos, the genetic theft, and the lesson in what happens when greed meets science. Well, hold on to your shaving cream containers this morning because a real-life version of that scene played out in Australia. Except this time, instead of dino DNA, we are talking about $100,000 worth of Wagyu cattle semen.
Okay.
Police in New South Wales say a man named Eric Fraser is at the center of this high-stakes, yep, pun intended, genetic heist. It involves stolen semen, embryos, fraudulent cattle sales, and a vet who allegedly forged treatment records. You're thinking, what the heck? So authorities say Fraser worked for Sumo Wagyu Genetics. It's a legitimate breeding operation. His boss asked him to sell 200 cattle, but instead, he allegedly sold 114 of them to himself through a third party, including 45 full-blood Wagyu cows. Cattle like that sell at about $3,000 a head, but Fraser got them at a massive discount because he was secretly on both sides of that transaction, the seller and the buyer. Police say he saved nearly $100,000 in just that process. But that's just the beginning to this story, because when investigators carried out 7 search warrants earlier this year, they found a liquid nitrogen storage tank on his property, and inside was that stolen Wagyu bull semen worth another $100,000. Now, for those of you who don't know, Wagyu beef, I've never had it, but it's a luxury global product that goes for up to $450 per kilo. That's 2.2 pounds. And that semen, it's not just valuable now, it's future genetics for this entire herd. A single straw can sell for $1,000. That's one vial, $1,000 of bull semen, depending on the bull's pedigree. You're talking about breeding rights, export markets, and international supply chain for high-end beef. Police also say they found embryos on his property, more genetic gold. Here's where the story takes a bit of a dark turn, though. Officers found 6 sick Wagyu bulls during their raid and ordered Frazier get them medical attention. But instead, he allegedly hired a vet who never treated those animals and just forged the paperwork. 2 of those bulls ended up dying. Now that vet, well, he's also facing charges, accused of animal cruelty. Frazier is charged with 20 offenses: cattle theft, fraud, animal cruelty, and obtaining financial advantage by deception. Both men are due back in court next month. The investigation was called Strike Force, and it took more than a year and required multiple law enforcement agencies from across New South Wales. That's because law enforcement says this wasn't just a few stolen cows. This was a layered fraud operation that targeted the DNA of an entire industry. This has got Netflix docuseries written all over it.
My mind is blown right now, and that is kind of a hard thing to do. People are so sick. That is awful. Yeah. Absolutely awful. Money is truly just like the root of all evil when it comes down to it, isn't it?
Sure is. Whether you're, stealing Ronald McDonald to sell it on social media or stealing bull semen to do God knows what with it. Just saying.
Okay, you're right. When we come back, a lot more to come this morning on ARC Rochester. We'll be taking a look at some top local stories and how you're reacting to them online.
Hey, and don't forget, you can watch us on the go wherever you are. ARC Rochester is streaming live right now on the 13 Wham YouTube channel, as well as foxrochester.com. Stick around. We're back on the other side of the break. I think it's a pretty bullish crime.
I think you guys need to be a little bit nicer.
Oh my gosh. Oh, we're doing zoomed in? So we don't show the live death.
To Abi? Oh. Oh. .814, welcome back. We are taking a closer look at some of the stories that are sparking conversation online and finding out where you stand on some of the hottest topics.
All right, so we'll start off with parents of RCSD students weighing in on how the district should respond to the statewide bell-to-bell cell phone ban set to take effect at the start of the new academic year. This has been a hot topic.
It certainly has. So yesterday, district leaders presented preliminary results from a survey sent out to parents, students and teachers. It asked several questions, including their thoughts on the restrictions, any concerns about the statewide policy, and offered suggestions on how schools should store those phones during the school day.
The survey voiced some parental support as well as teacher and staff support. However, not everyone is in favor of the ban. Governor Kathy Hochul says all school districts in New York are expected to finalize and publish their distraction-free policy by August 1st.
Yeah, this policy has been very divisive among parents. Stephannie Joseph is at the live desk with a look at what some of our viewers are saying. And Steph, I have not looked at these comments yet this morning, but I can only imagine.
Yeah. I would say there's a good mix of some people that understand that with cell phones comes distraction, but another mix saying, you know, they want to be able to contact children, but let's just jump right into it. So Katrina said, banning won't work. Regulation and compromise. Allow for certain times people can use phones and enforce that. I don't know why it's so hard to sit down and talk with kids about this. Kids aren't stupid. Just learn how to communicate better. As for Jennifer, she says, in part, the parents need to get involved. Not all those kids listen or even care about their own education. So a lot of division, maybe some generational gaps that people are starting to notice in how children learn nowadays. As for Linda, she says, why do you need input from families? Just put the rule in place, so supporting it. Claudia, does it get enforced? Are there consequences?
That's a good question.
Yeah, all good questions, really.
Yeah.
But I think there is a question that was kind of asked in one of those comments is, why are we taking them away when they are devices that they're going to have with them at every other point of their existence from here until the end of their last breath? I mean, you use it at the grocery store. You use it when you're getting your hair done. You use it. You use it everywhere and for 9 out of 10 things in life.
Right.
You know what I mean? My question is, why are we not kind of incorporating it as a tool into the educational system?
I know one of the big concerns, that's a good point, yeah, incorporating it into the educational system. I was getting ready to graduate high school when, like, they had a laptop cart that they would bring out, you know, and that was kind of like the first introduction into technology in classrooms. But I know one big question that a lot of parents are asking right now, Steph, is the safety part of it, right? What happens if there's an emergency with my child at school?
Fair.
And we did hear from school leaders yesterday, I believe, about that. And Steph, you're familiar a little bit with their emergency system, yes?
Yeah, that is for sure. And I think one of the questions that was on the RCSD survey was asking about what storage looks like. So I think that that part is still up in the air as to where students would be able to access them and how long that this break would last. Typically during lunchtime, for example, we're on our devices. So it's something that we expect to come out later on, but it's definitely a question that the district raised.
A lot of people talking. All right, we'll move along to our next story that's got people excited. IKEA coming to New York State, upstate New York.
Yeah, the home goods retailer plans to open a nearly 70,000 square foot store at Destiny USA in Syracuse this fall. The store will include an as-is department offering gently used and discounted items. Currently, the closest IKEA to our region is across the Canadian border in Burlington, Ontario.
So no longer do you have to head north. Now, for those who've never been to an IKEA, it's something to get excited about. Steph, you've been there,
She's
right?
rubbing her hands. She's excited over there.
I am excited. It's great. I went to the first time, I would say, maybe second time, I went to an IKEA was in London, and it was so nice. And I remember it being 2 floors. A lot of people excited. Clearly, I am too. Let's just get into their comments. So Marcia said, OMG, finally, been dying for an IKEA. Michelle adding, who's renting the bus for opening day? Which, Michelle, when you find out, let me know.
Yeah.
Leah also saying, woo, gotta make a very long list. I cannot wait. At least it's only 1.5 hours better than going to Pittsburgh or Toronto or New York City. As for Alexa, wish it was Rochester, but you know, still excited.
Yeah.
And Amy also adding, this is the best news ever. Simply put, Cindy also saying, I'm doing the happy dance, LOL, yay. And Debbie also joining in because we want to plan that road trip. She's just saying, let's do it already and get that bus all together. Jason adding, Rochester would have been better. So, I mean, it would have been great for us, right here, local. I don't blame them. Wendy also adding, Rochester is missing out on a great opportunity. Wish it went into the old Marketplace Mall. I'm sure it has its reasons.
Hey, never say never with that, right?
Right? Who knows? Adam also says their quality is not very high, so on the other side of this, I know people love it. It's pretty low end. John Williams, because who doesn't like pressboard furniture? So both sides to this.
Yeah. Listen, it's IKEA, though. It's IKEA.
I would say it's simple furniture. They don't try to go too hard. There's not extra gadgets and gizmos, whatever.
It's simple, but it's not simple to assemble or simple to pronounce when you've got the Freudenschlagen Schluger coffee table.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to know, are they going to have the meatballs there? Because apparently IKEA meatballs are...
I asked this question yesterday.
Did you?
And Director Chris was like laughing at me a little bit. He hadn't been to an IKEA, but I was like, come on, you got to try the meatballs. So...
Yeah.
Wow. Nobody's going to be fooled going to IKEA, all right? For those people that were negative, like, oh, it's only pressboard. No kidding. You're going to go there. You're not going to be fooled into thinking that you're buying a mahogany dresser and then get it home and say, oh, this is not real mahogany. You know what you're getting. So don't go if you don't want to go.
Yeah.
If you're excited, amazing. I'm excited. Steph's excited. Yeah. You're excited. It's fun to be excited about things. For those who are being negative, don't comment.
If you do go, though, just ask for a map, because trying to find your way out of any IKEA, virtually impossible.
All right. That's it.
That's it.
Wow. Okay, that went quick. Hey, you can find all these stories over on 13wham.com. Steph, thanks. And you can always weigh in on social media. You may see your comments live right here on air.
Stick around when Ark Rochester returns. It's this morning's weather trivia.
Mark will be here coming up after this. Welcome back. Meteorologist Mark McLean joining us once again in the studio. By the way, Great job out there.
Oh,
yesterday.
thanks.
Really awesome. I was talking with our assistant news director about it, and I said every young reporter should watch this because that's exactly how you do weather coverage, storm coverage.
I just feel bad for the folks out there. I mean, there were so many, it is a very sparsely populated area. I mean, if something like this had happened in Gates or Greece or some, and not to marginalize it, but, the damage would have been much more widespread. There would have been injuries. There possibly could have been fatalities. I mean, this was a very dangerous tornado that moved through there. So for Ontario County, meteorologist Scott Hetzko was looking back. In our records, this was the first EF2 tornado in Ontario County that we know of.
That's
my
incredible.
So, I mean, that's getting to a level where even if you're inside of a sturdy structure, that structure could collapse.
Yeah.
Okay, so you really have to be underground in a basement, that kind of thing.
One thing I want to point out, actually, two things, but it's all encompassing. The Mennonite community there,
Yes.
stepping
Amazing.
up, coming in and
Yeah.
helping our neighbors. Really incredible. Like literally hours after they're up on people's roofs.
Yes.
Putting tarps up, making sure there's no further damage. And the town also telling people, don't worry about that tree, and then showing up an hour later
Yeah.
with a truck and a crew to, take care of it for these residents. Really incredible.
Yeah.
Really incredible.
7 power poles. Power went out at 6:30 at night, was back on by 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
7 new
Amazing.
poles. That's wild. And talked to Jody and Damian Clemens out there about their home, and they talked about the Mennonites and how fast they came in and had the tarps up. While we were there, they were clearing the driveway of some of the fallen trees. So it was really something.
It says a lot about the people in our community.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
We say it time and time again about how
Sure
just
does.
kind everybody is.
And they help out a ton, and hopefully they get back on their feet soon here. But we're talking about heat again and weather. It looks like this is going to be a real heater this summer in Western New York. So the trivia, let's go to the board. We're talking July heat in Rochester, and July can be a hot month. Do you know what the record is for the greatest number of 90-degree days during the month of July in Rochester? So how many times has it, in the all-time records, how many times have we hit 90 just during the month of July? July has 31 days, by the
Since
way.
1875?
Yes, yeah, this goes way back. Yep, and here's the choices. Okay, so we've got 5 days, 7 days, 10 days, or 13 days.
And this does not need to be consecutive.
Does not need to be consecutive, no. Nope, and again, this is not seasonal. This is just specifically the month of
Just
July,
the month of July.
which historically is our hottest month of the
Okay,
year.
listen, I've got a guess.
Sure.
But that's all it is.
That's okay.
Just a guess.
It's just interesting information.
Oh, absolutely.
It's up online, if you want to take a shot at it, or if you know. We've got that up on Facebook, some of the other social media as well. So we'll have that answer coming up at 9 o'clock. But speaking of heat, hey, let's go to, this was the tornado before we get back to the heat. Just the information for you on what was the final tally from the National Weather Service in Buffalo. It ended up being a 1.7 mile path, about 300 yards wide. And again, that EF2 rating, that's the part that kind of jumps out. Occasionally south of Buffalo, in Western New York, we'll get an EF3 about once every decade or so. That's about as strong as they get around here for tornadoes. And, obviously there's no such thing as a weak tornado either. I mean, we're talking about tornadoes and coverage, and, you have to be concerned anytime that word is used in a forecast. But let's get back to the heat story here. That heat wave that we had back in 1936. This is the middle of it, so today being the 9th. Today is tied in terms of records for the hottest day ever.
102.
102.
Wow.
Can you imagine that without air conditioning?
No.
And listen, it's not a dry 102.
No.
That's a humid 102.
That would have been dew points in the 60s. Or possibly 70s. I would have to actually look at the records.
Like living underwater, boiling water.
Yeah, and could we have another heat wave next week? Middle of next week. The Climate Prediction Center's kind of on board. We're on board. Tropical air making a comeback through the Northeast and parts of New England.
I'm on board.
We're going to have some warm air is what I'm trying to dig at here. 68 with the clouds, and that's going to be kind of the theme today, much like yesterday, where we have a bit of cloud cover around, but not a lot of action in terms of any rainfall or anything like that. Back to our west, we have a warm front, and that warm front's going to kick up the humidity again over the next couple of days. Weak high pressure, kind of squashing and just holding those clouds in. But tonight we may clear out for a little bit. Overnight tonight, partly cloudy, and then just the smallest chance that we get a pop-up shower as we go through the afternoon tomorrow. I just don't see it being a huge deal. So forecast-wise, we're going to be right around 80, maybe low 80s. Again, lots of clouds, but some sunshine through those clouds at times. Tonight, back to the mid-60s, seasonably mild for this time of the year, partly cloudy. And that 7-day forecast for you, 86 for your Friday. Mentioned you guys were talking about the weekends being a little bit better to us. Looks like this is going to be a decent weekend, but we'll have to watch for some scattered storms on Sunday. And next week, you see a couple of 90s there on the board. We've officially had 5 days in the 90s. That would be 6 on Saturday, 7 potentially on Tuesday. And one of the weather trivias was how many was the record of all time. We did talk about that, right, for 90-degree heat? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that was 32 back in 1953.
Incredible.
That we don't necessarily, well, some people would probably like to get to that record, but
yeah,
that's a lot.
Listen, I think it's a little excessive.
Yeah, that's a
little excessive. Yeah.
But if you have a pool,
listen,
Call us.
true.
Call us. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, McLean.
You got it.
Time right now is 8:30 on the dot. Don't go anywhere. Much more to get to on Arc Rochester.
We are back on the other side of the break.
Barstool.
We don't
great.
like them.
You don't?
No.
Oh, come on now.
They're a little
Let's have some fun.
unflattering sometimes.
Yeah.
You look great.
Oh, tell me.
Sometimes
.933 this Wednesday morning. Thanks so much for sticking with us here on Arc Rochester. We have officially passed the halfway point of 2025. And for many people, that may mean taking a moment to look over the finances.
Yeah, for this morning's Wealth Wednesday, we have wealth advisor Jarrett Felton with us to talk about planning for the second half of 2025, specifically when it comes to our spending habits. And Jarrett, we were just talking a little bit about online shopping. Maybe a good time for people to go through their bank statements and say, oh, maybe I shouldn't be spending so much on Amazon.
Yeah, absolutely. Just pause, reflect. Let's look at the footprints in the sand, right? 2 things to keep in mind. Those things that were called New Year's resolutions, if anyone remember those when it comes to the financial goals, why are you quiet?
No, I'm saying, yeah,
right,
I remember something along those lines.
And then the other aspect of this is making sure that, it's summertime and everyone's going on vacations and spending. So there's 2 things that we should keep in the back of the mind throughout this episode of Wealth Wednesday. So the first thing is let's check out the scoreboard, right? So let's take a look at some of the things that we've spent on, from January to now, or most recently the last quarter. We also want to maybe even print out the last 90 days of our bank statements and see where are our biggest spending categories. Maybe we want to tackle some of those biggest ones, scale back a little bit because those New Year's resolutions I'm sure we wanted to put more maybe into retirement, maybe more into brokerage accounts, maybe be more philanthropic, give to the church or wherever you decide to spend your money. But let's be really intentional with it. But mid-year, good time to take a look, pause, and reflect.
Is it okay that people take part, though, in some of that online shopping?
Well, I'm not here to just police all of your wallets.
Okay.
Just the largest chunks of what will take care of you down the road when retirement comes. It's probably just a good way to put it.
Okay.
So I guess one way to look at this is, number one, if you could put certain aspects of what you spend that you know are fixed cost every month on autopilot or auto pay, bill pay as I call it, maybe that's something you can do, because that way when you take a look at your bank statements for the past 90 days or full 6 months, you can see what was maybe impulsive purchases, AKA the Amazon shopping, or anything else that just happens, knee-jerk
Pointing
reaction.
at me,
right?
for that.
Or I don't know. She seems pretty cool, calm, and collected.
It was definitely me.
I don't know. And then we can also see the difference. What did we spend that we know we have to spend, and then what are the things that are maybe more impulse purchases? So,
Fair enough.
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
Okay, so then when it comes to looking at your retirement and looking at all the other bigger pictures, what should people be focused on when it comes to improvement? If they look at it and say, oh boy, I'm kind of behind on my plans here, what do they do?
Sure. So once again, great time of the year to take a look at that. When it comes to the retirement aspect of things, maybe do a retirement calculator. Maybe reaching out to a retirement planning specialist or investment or financial advisor to see, hey, am I doing the right things? I know 6 months from January to June may seem like a small window in the grand scheme of things from when you retire, or when we retire, since we're so young, not old young, right? It's still good to make sure that we're at least heading in the right direction trajectory-wise. So have you put in enough? Are you on track to do the max contributions to your 401k or 403b? If you're not, maybe there's a reason in your life why you're not, but maybe you came in the year hot and heavy. Maybe we need to pause and take a look and see why we're not. Something else we could take a look at is our HSAs. Are those invested properly, or are they just sitting in cash? Inside of an HSA, you can invest that similar to how you invest a 401k, so those dollars just aren't sitting there. Something else we could probably do, which is really helpful, people talk about wealth and growing money in retirement. It is about what you make, but it's also about what you get to keep. So now's a good time to take a look at your taxes by taking a look at your pay stub. Reach out to your accountant, CPA, and make sure that you are paying in enough taxes, federal and to the great state of New York, so that come at the end of the year or tax time next year, you're not owing money. Maybe you're receiving some, but I like to say, don't give them too much and definitely don't give them too little. Let's try and break even. So I'd say the tax piece is a really big piece. It is what you want to make down the road, but it is about what you get to keep today.
Absolutely, but also about what you're going to have tomorrow, which is why making sure that you are maxing out those retirement accounts.
Yeah, exactly. I know Prime, when you order, does come tomorrow, but your retirement will be here tomorrow if you're not careful, and you got nothing.
Very true.
Can I say one last thing, if you don't mind? So the other thing I would suggest is instead of that monthly income, outgoing expenses, maybe we take a look at, the spreadsheeting of different debts that we have had coming into the year, and maybe some of the things that we've acquired for the year, but most importantly, what's forecasted. So with regards to, you're going on these vacations, living your best life, I'm here for it. Live and love your life. But be mindful, we got another 6 months. Good, bad, or indifferent. So what are some of the things that are going to be coming up? We got Labor Day travels. I'm sure we got holiday travels, gifts for the family coming up, tuition coming up for kids returning to college. Be mindful of that. What is with all these deep sighs?
No, listen, you're just pointing out some cold, hard facts.
That tuition for all your kids.
All my kids.
Yeah, right. Me and you in the same category, right? But, I just think it's wise and prudent to just be mindful, and intentional where your dollars are spent. But mid-year is a good time to look because we still got another 6 months. Let's use them to our advantage and keep the wind under our wings and in our sails.
Very good. Jarrett, thank you. We appreciate it. Always great advice. Hit him with the website.
Thank you for having me. And it's investment.com, invessent.com. Stop on by.
Jarrett Felton, thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Time right now, 8:39. Much more to come this morning on Arc Rochester. When we come back, a look at some of the stories that have people talking this Wednesday morning.
Absolutely. And don't forget, you can watch us on the go wherever you are. Arc Rochester is streaming live right now on the 13 Wham YouTube channel and at foxrochester.com. Stick around. We're back after this.
It's time to see what's trending this Wednesday morning, starting with a rising trend among expecting parents.
Okay, so according to a new report from Baby Center UK, there's a spike in people choosing to name their children after some true crime icons. A little weird.
Icons? Okay. According to the top 100 baby names of 2025, some of the names on the rise are Anna Delvey,
Okay.
Ruby Frankie, and Ted Bundy. Are you kidding me right now?
You do this to your poor child.
This is disgusting.
According to a naming expert, parents are not choosing these names because of the crimes that these people have committed.
More often, the parents are unconsciously absorbing pop culture and choosing to name their children after things that are popular in media, TV, and other viral content. Okay, let me just dive
Just
right
go
in
for
here.
it.
Are you kidding me? Did we forget what Ted Bundy actually did? Disgusting. I mean, absolutely horrific crimes that he was convicted of. And absolutely horrible. Absolutely horrible.
Do they not have friends who they ran these names past who said, ooh, interesting
Apparently not.
choice?
Apparently not. It is honestly despicable.
Did no one at the hospital say, are you sure?
Horrible.
Maybe think that one over. Did you Google that name? Google the name.
Ruby Frankie, are you kidding me?
Yeah, nope.
We got him. I'm
Not a fan of that
I'm
one.
gonna Nancy Grace it up in like 2 seconds if we don't move on.
Oh, boy. Let's move on to a woman who's going viral after sharing a bizarre
No,
incident.
you know what? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I mean, that's a me move.
I know
Go
it
for
was-
it.
No, I was just kidding.
Okay.
It was a bit. Sorry.
Bizarre incident that happened while she was sleepwalking.
Yeah, according to the woman, she woke up one morning surprised to find a DoorDash charge on her account.
Yeah, of course, she had no recollection of ordering, but she also had no trace of that food in her home.
She explained how she was super confused and couldn't figure out what exactly happened. So she used her Ring doorbell footage and she was able to trace back the DoorDash driver getting to her home.
Yeah, in the surveillance video, she sees the delivery man place a single honey mustard packet at her door. Oh, come on, at her doorstep. She goes on to say she paid $8 just for that one sauce and that she wants to apologize to the delivery guy who came all the way to her house at 1 o'clock in the morning. Listen, I think this is phenomenal.
You have a history of sleep eating, yes? So this is something that could happen to you.
Yeah, it could. It could. I've never ordered while needing to sleep eat.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
I do.
I've always just gone ravenous in the kitchen, and I wake up the following morning and say, what happened out here?
What did you eat once? It was like a box of...
I ate a box of blueberry muffins, but it was just the dry powder.
So
Just the dry
That's
powder.
sick. Didn't you get really, nauseous from that?
mouth, like cotton mouth. How
Listen.
did you?
A spoon and me. And
How
then,
did you
then
not
there was
wake up?
there was that time recently where what did I eat? I don't know. I had some chocolate. My mother sent me like 9 pounds of chocolate. Why do you do that to anybody? Like that's not healthy. Reese's peanut butter cups. That's what it was.
Oh, yeah, see.
The plant-based Reese's peanut butter cups. You wake up the following morning.
There's just wrappers scattered.
Literally, wrappers everywhere. Everywhere.
Oh, my God.
It's not good.
I don't think I've ever slept 8. I sleep talk often. I sleep text also often, which
You
you've
do?
experienced.
Yep.
But other than, I don't think I've ever had a snack while I was sleeping.
You don't think.
I don't think.
You never know. I know of a woman who told me that she did something similar, and she woke up one morning and there was something brown all over her face and her pillow. It was melted chocolate.
Oh, gosh, okay.
Yep. Yeah.
There
All
are
right.
worse things.
Final story. Yes, exactly. Final story of the morning. Do you ever think about how much stuff gets lost or forgotten at Disney parks? Well, some people do, and they actually can't wait to spend money to get those items.
All right, so with thousands of fans visiting the U.S. parks each day, there's got to be a lot of things that are forgotten or left behind.
Yeah, the park does strive to return everything to its rightful owner, but the volume of things in the Lost and Found is just too much to handle.
So Disneyland decided to do something about it, partnering up with a local Goodwill and hosting an annual sale of their lost and found items.
Disney fans are welcome to scour through bins of unclaimed items, looking for discounts on Mickey ears, souvenir cups, pins, clothes, and plushies.
Besides Disney swag, shoppers can even search for brand names, sunglasses, portable chargers, handbags, and even strollers and wagons.
Yeah, people leave. Listen.
Look at all of those strollers.
Here's the thing. You make it out of a Disney park, and you're like, I got the 3 kids. Leave the rest of it behind. Let it go.
Did you see the coffee pot, though?
Let it go.
Who left a coffee
Who
pot?
left a coffee pot?
Listen. Somebody who probably does a morning news show.
Oh,
They,
Crutch?
you know,
a crutch. Where's
they
the other
they
one?
showed up.
My crutch.
Just one. Well, listen, they don't call it Magic Mountain for no reason. I'm healed. After the annual sale on all of those items, all the items that are not sold are donated to local charities, which is always good.
Wow, that is very nice.
Yeah, pretty.
Some of the things left behind. My goodness.
Oh, man.
Wow.
Hey, stick around. When Arc Rochester returns, we are looking ahead to the upcoming Rochester Pride Parade and Festival.
We're back after this.
.50 this Wednesday morning. One of Rochester's most beloved parades and festivals is getting ready to kick off, celebrating loud, proud, and in full color.
Yeah, 13WAM is a proud sponsor of the Pride Parade and Festival, and its premier sponsors are Trillium Health and ESL Federal Credit Union. Jake Purcell from Trillium Health and Samantha Weidel from ESL are with us now to kick off that countdown. Good morning to you both. Thank you for being here.
Morning.
Good morning. We appreciate that you guys are here because I'm sure that you are extremely busy getting ready for this festival and the parade. Tell us how all the preparations are going.
They're going really well. The parade lineup is set. It's ready to kick off next Saturday, right at 11 o'clock, 11 a.m. Last year we did the same route, so it's going to be a little different from past years, but same as last year. So it's at the cross section of Science Parkway and South Ave. And it kicked off right at 11 a.m., so we're ready to go for it again. Do the same thing.
I feel like every year this parade just gets just a little bit bigger. Each and every year it continues to grow. Is that the case this year?
Just a little bit smaller.
Really?
Yeah, just a little bit smaller, but certainly bigger than still years of past.
Okay.
So I would say we have just about 200 participant groups, which is
Wow.
still a ton.
Yeah.
Last year we had, I think, it was getting close to like 225. So a little fewer, but still, that's not to say though the numbers of each participant group could be bigger.
Yeah.
So it's very possible we'll have more people actually marching, and also always expect that there will probably be more spectators than the past as well.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Yep.
And part of the reason why the Rochester Pride Parade was moved to July was so that they could get a really big audience. Is that right?
Well, there are some roots in why it's in July, because the very first Pride celebration in Rochester was the picnic, which I believe was early 70s to mid 70s, and that was done in July. And so they kind of kept it with those roots. I think it also allows community members to attend other Pride festivals. I was just in Toronto 2 weekends ago. So it kind of by spreading it out and having it at a little bit of an odd time of the year, it allows more participation.
Why is Pride one of the premier events for ESL? Why become a sponsor for this?
Well, equity and inclusion is at our heart of our core values, and one of our core values is caring about people, and that is caring about all people. So our employee resource group is huge at ESL, and we love being able to support our Rochester community, but especially like our Rochester LGBTQ community.
And so how will Rochesterians and people visiting the area see ESL show up for the parade and the festival?
Well, there's many of us marching in the parade right behind Trillium, so you'll see us in our bright white t-shirts with the rainbow across the side, as well as one of the first booths at the festival. We have all of our employee resource group members are going to be volunteering with us at the Pride Parade and at the festival. So we'll be able to give away fun goodies and little like rainbow trinkets, of course, for everyone to celebrate Pride.
Do you guys have like a big float that's like, I don't know, like an ATM machine or a big credit card or something?
That's really funny. Honestly, I wish, but
Maybe next year.
maybe next year, exactly. But honestly, our excitement kind of takes over for it instead.
Very nice.
Talk to us a little bit about the importance of having a Pride Parade and a Pride Festival in our area.
I would say it's always important, always has been important. I love that they're popping up in all sorts of communities. Even some of the smaller towns throughout the year have already happened. And I think, it kind of culminates into the whole community Rochester Festival this in 2 weekends. It gives visibility to what it means to be proud and to celebrate your own pride, but then also offers a chance for the allies really to show up and kind of show their support, which is just as equally, if not more important. And it's just, honestly, it's just such a giant celebration of positivity, which everybody is due for.
What can people expect at the festival that follows the parade this year? 'Cause that's massive.
It's massive. And again, the festival runs also from 11 to 6 p.m. At Highland Park. So there's going to be a series of vendors, lots of vendors, lots of food trucks, more than last year. Center stage, lots of really interesting, fascinating performances. So there's a little bit for everybody. There's also all the tables, which a lot of the organizations in town do a table setup, so you can kind of get some information there. But it's just, honestly, it's kind of whatever you want it to be. A lot of people spend the whole time at the stage watching. A lot of people just kind of, get around to the different food vendors and whatnot. So it's whatever you want it to be.
Thank you both so much for coming in today. We really appreciate it. Not this weekend, but the next weekend.
The 19th.
And 11 o'clock kicks off, yes?
11 a.m. The festival, 11 to 6, parade right at 11 a.m. So get a good spot on South and be ready.
Perfect. Thank you both again. And we'll make sure to post all of this information and much more on our website, foxrochester.com, after the show this morning.
Much more to get to coming up on Arc Rochester.
Stick around. We're back on the other side of the break.
Much more to get to this morning on Arc Rochester as we continue into the 9 o'clock hour. Stephannie Joseph will be here breaking down some of our top political stories.
Yeah, she joins us now from the live desk with a preview of what we can expect at 9. Good morning, Steph.
Good morning there, guys. In today's political pulse, more than $6 billion is on hold for after-school and summer programs. The grants are now under review by the Education Department. I sit down with one local organization navigating the uncertainty. That's all coming up in our 9 o'clock hour. Arc Rochester returns right after this.
Hey, it's Wednesday morning, 9 o'clock on this July 9th. Thanks for staying with us on Arc Rochester. I'm Abi Fridmann.
I'm Dan Schrack, meteorologist Mark McLean, with us once again this morning with a check of the forecast as well as this morning's answer to our weather trivia question. And we were talking about hot days, particularly 90-degree days in the month of July.
Yeah, and we've had some summers where we've had none. I can remember one summer, this is the early 1990s, Mount Pinatubo went off, and the following summer here in western New York and much of the northern hemisphere was very much cooler because of the effect of that volcano. We had a high temperature of 87 for the entire summer.
Wow.
Can you imagine that? 87?
A little disappointing.
For the summer lovers it was, but how many 90-degree days could we have during the month of July on record in Rochester? Was it 5 days? Was it 7 days of 90-degree heat? 10 days of 90-degree heat or 13 days of 90-degree heat? First of all, how are we doing? I missed yesterday. Did you guys
We got it right.
Yes.
So that's
Forget
2 in a
what
row.
the question
Marty
was.
accidentally gave us the answer.
Oh,
Oh, did he?
Right. That's
On the
right.
air?
Yeah.
He did pull a mark.
I've done
Yeah.
that. I've done that.
Yeah.
Yep, been there. Josh, Julia, and Frank say B. Barb, Janet, and Cheryl say C. Lots of responses.
Anything on Insta? Nothing
Nothing
on
there? Okay.
Come on,
It's all right.
people. Get
All
on
right.
Instagram.
So
I am going
no A's or D's.
Abby,
I'll go with C.
I'm going to go with D. And here's my reasoning.
Okay.
Because if we're going back in the record books, 32 days was the record of 90s.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
Yeah, in 1 year.
Yes.
I'm going to go with 13 then.
Okay, and Dan Schrack is now 3 for 3 this week. Yeah. Gross. Happy says. 13 days. So that's basically half of the month of July in the 90s. I mean, 31, almost half, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's hard to imagine. And then you put the year on it, and you go back to the early 1950s. I'm sure there was a few folks that had air conditioning at that point, but I mean...
Is that when that was?
Yeah, that was back in the early 1950s. So, you take yourself back to that time, and, we were in Lake Ontario? What were we doing? I mean, how do you cool off?
Yeah,
right?
I feel
Swimming
like...
pools, what were we...
I would imagine in conditions like that, communities kind of come to a standstill.
Yeah.
You know what I
Slow
mean?
it down a little bit.
Yeah,
the afternoons.
you've got the refrigerator repairman coming over, making sure you've got your block of ice.
Right.
In the ice box.
Yeah, we were
That
still
kind of
doing
thing.
ice boxes. Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
back then, right? I mean, 40s, 50s, probably into the early 50s. Yeah. Wow. But there's the trivia so far for this morning, and that was in the early 1950s, July of 1952. Well, this guy's cooling off. Snowball.
Literally melting out there in the sun.
But happy about it.
Look at that coat of fur. All right, but nice dry day for Snowball today. Tomorrow we'll see that chance for an isolated shower. Friday, Saturday look dry, and Sunday, again, a chance of an isolated shower. And if you'd like to see your pup on the air, we would love to share the photo through Chime In. It's 13wham.com/chime in. We've got a QR code on the screen. We've been getting pictures of deer and all sorts of other critters on there. You guys had turkey vultures on the air today, didn't you?
We did,
sure
for
did.
the picture of the day.
Turkey vultures with names.
Oh, wow. Snowball out there today is going to catch a UV index at about 7. So we do have a little cloud cover. The index can actually get up to 10 or 11 this time of the year, which is a 15-minute sunburn. But, at 7, you want to go with a higher SPF out there if you're doing a little bit of work. Now, we're catching a little blue on the wham cam. There's also some clouds out there. I would call it a mixed sky. 70 degrees, the dew point's in the mid-60s, so it all adds up to a very summer-like feel for your Wednesday. Ultimate Doppler. No rain out there, so that's a nice dry start for you if you're heading out for the walk. The warm front is still back to the west of Rochester, and that's really going to keep the humidity levels elevated as we go through the next couple of days. We're going to see those dew points well into the 60s and potentially back into the low 70s at times. But weak high pressure, that's the big blue H for you. That keeps it fairly quiet for today. That red line on your screen is the warm front, and it starts to advance in western New York into Thursday, so that's why we see that tropical air make a return, and that's why we see that small chance of a shower in the forecast for Thursday evening. A lot of that's going to probably stay southeast of Rochester. So your forecast today, you're getting the clubs out, 73 at 10, 79 degrees at 1 o'clock this afternoon, should top out near 80. Again, a lot of cloud cover, but that sun is so strong this time of the year, it has a tendency of fighting through those clouds pretty easily. 66 tonight, seasonably mild, partly cloudy, light and variable wind. Looking pretty good there. And on the 70s.
That's an open window kind of night.
Yeah, oh, for sure. Yeah,
You know?
I will. Sometimes I'll even leave the AC on and leave the window cracked a little bit anyway, just because. But put the rest of that 7-day up. We'll show you.
Rockefeller with that kind of money?
Just cracked. Just a crack. You see some of those temps, pushing the 90s again. So we've had 5 days in the 90s. This could potentially make 7 if we get there a couple of times. But the other part to point out, like you just mentioned, Dan, is that some of those low temperatures are back in the 70s. You get that tropical air. It's a lot harder for the atmosphere to cool off at night. The normal low is 62 degrees, and the reason that a lot of our temperatures in late June and July have been above normal has been those overnight low temperatures. They've been well into the 60s and 70s at times.
Okay.
Yeah, not mad about the 90s at all.
no.
Love the sunshine, and all in all, excellent stuff.
How's the pool project? Is it still in the conceptual phase?
Yeah, it's not happening. Not this summer.
No.
Not this summer?
Not happening?
We looked at the finances.
You guys have a can-do attitude, though.
Well, we do, but it's also, it's expensive, and also we have very few weekends in the summer where we can do fun things.
Yeah.
And I'm like, do we want to spend all of our weekends working in the insane heat on this pool that may or may not actually happen? Just for it to be done by the time the cooler weather comes.
Yeah, you start that project right when the ground starts to thaw.
Yeah, and this spring it was just so busy we didn't even
Why
think
you do
about
a
it.
heated pool so that by fall you're in it.
We're looking, we're weighing our options here.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Listen, I'm just saying. Yeah. Cancel. Sorry, Becky, we can't come to your wedding next weekend. We're putting a pool in.
I'm in the tank.
Yeah.
It's going to be an actual pool. It's going to be a
it
pool.
is?
Yeah.
Okay.
In ground or above?
Do I look like I have in-ground pool kind of money? Come on.
Well, listen,
I was gonna do
I
a
don't know.
stock tank. It was gonna be literally like
Those are cool, though.
Listen, I know. We'd make it look good, but you know,
Well,
we'll see.
anybody out there with a discount, let us know.
Keep me
We'll take it. Stick around. A lot more to come right here on ARC Rochester, including when we come back, we're learning more about a colorful festival that is taking over the streets this weekend.
Don't forget, you can always watch us on the go wherever you are. We're streaming live right now on the 13WAM YouTube channel and on foxrochester.com. Stick around. We're back after this.
You both.
On in.
All right.
Have a seat.
You got some stuff you want to show?
Yeah, well, I brought.
This weekend, the streets of downtown Perry will again come to life, turning into a work of art for the 19th annual Chalk Festival.
Yeah, we're joined now by festival organizer Megan Hauser to talk about the sidewalk masterpieces and a whole lot more. Megan, thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
This is really, really cool. I'm always so impressed by anybody who can do any kind of chalk art. But the cool thing about this festival is anybody can participate, right?
Yeah, thank you for that intro, Abby. Exactly. We have some wonderful artists that are professionals that are chalking 5x5 squares, so huge art, really, on our plaza. And then along the sidewalks of Perry, on one side, it's going to be youth and aspiring artists, so people that are, anywhere from ages 10 to 19 that want to be the people on that big square in the future. So they'll be chalking 4x4s. But really, anyone that comes, even if either of you came, you'd have the opportunity to put art on our art wall, which is 1x1 squares. And I did bring something for you today, if either of you wants to.
Yeah.
Chalk.
Yeah, let's go for it.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So the 1x1 grid in our chalk wall basically has surfaces like this, so when they fill, we can turn them. But if one of you wants to chalk with the professional pastels
all you.
that I brought
okay.
All
today,
you.
All right.
you can do that.
I'll continue the conversation
All right.
and hold the pastels for
Thank you. Just this one?
Yes, just
Okay,
that one.
very
And then
good.
you can see these pastels are a little different than
wow.
what you think of with
I
sidewalk
don't know if we can get a
chalk.
shot on
Yeah,
camera too,
But
just of
so
those before.
they're artists, so they need
we use them.
professional art tools.
They're
They're
really
beautiful.
nice.
Yeah.
You know what? One of the things that I find absolutely incredible about the chalk art displays is not only are people so immensely creative and talented in doing them, I like the variety that you get to see. I like the full-on murals, the landscapes that you can see, but I also really like the ones that are, I don't know, are they 3D or forced perspective, where, you know, you stand in one spot and take the picture and it looks like there's a massive hole in the ground, or it looks like the dragon is coming to eat you or something. I imagine you guys have all kinds.
Yeah, so we have a theme each year. This year's theme is look forward, look back. So just like you, I like to see what artists come up with. Typically, we'll give that theme in August of the previous year because the artists are really hankering to hear what are we going to be working on this year. So when you get 32 different professional artists working on the same theme, you get, just like you're talking about, that wide variety. And you will get 2 or 3 people that like to do the 3D chalking. You really need some extra space in order to do that. So they'll have to tell us that in advance. But yes, exactly. There should be some neat variety.
Do these artists have to come up with plans and let you know? Do all of them need to tell you in advance? Hey, this is what I'm doing this year.
Well, if you're doing what Abi is doing, you do not need to give me advance notice.
Okay.
But any of the professional artists, any of the youth artists, yes, they've already put in applications. We've judged their work, so we have accepted them to be performers.
Oh, wow. Okay. Now, when you show up with the kids and they inevitably need to grab a piece of chalk and start to take part, is there space for them to do that somewhere?
Yeah, that's just what this 1x1 is.
Perfect.
So the kids 10 to 19 that have signed up in advance, they're on the sidewalk.
Okay.
But the ones that are coming and saying, you know what, Mom, or husband, or whoever it is, because you don't have to be 7, you can be 70. And
this is true. This is true.
I've always wanted to make my own art, and here's your chance.
What else can people expect there other than the spectacular chalk art?
So great question. So on one side, you have people making their art, and it's fun to watch it, but it does take all day. So on the other side of the street, we have 70 different vendors that are going to be offering everything from vegetables to also their own kinds of fine art.
70?
Yeah, so that'll be taking place on the other side of the street. Great types of food trucks will be there. And then if you're athletic at all, there's also the Tour de Paris, so a friendly bike ride, either 17 miles or 53 miles. That's the really friendly one. Taking place in Letchworth Park, and I don't even remember the elevation change, but it's significant.
That's really impressive. I love that you've got all of these vendors. It really is a whole community event, a community that comes together for something really special and really magical, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's really make your day in Perry kind of day, because we are just a mile from Letchworth Park, so you can come down, be part of the Chalk Festival, spend some time in Letchworth. The Charcoal Corral that night is making a giant sundae, so if you didn't get enough sweet stuff at the festival, you can go get part of the giant sundae.
Are we going for like a world record with this sundae?
That's a good question for them, but I know it takes place in a swimming pool, so a kiddie swimming
Oh,
pool.
man.
Listen, any kind of swim. You say sundae in a swimming pool, I'm there. I'm all about it. All right, Abigail, we've got like 30 seconds left.
I know. Just keep going. I'm almost done.
We need to do the big reveal. Now, is this going to be on display?
Yes, it will be.
This
right
will
in the
be.
Well, that's why she's making it.
Man.
Look at that.
I know. I'm getting nervous.
Do you recommend artists sign their work?
Abi certainly could do that.
Oh my gosh.
I think
don't
you're
know.
gonna have to.
I think you're right. Okay, hold on. I'm sorry.
Your blending could use a little work, but that's okay.
It's
That's
always
okay.
good to have critics.
All right. There it is.
Very good.
Look
That's
at that.
great.
There's our logo, 13 Wham ABC.
I love
Very
it.
good.
Awesome.
You did
I'm
very
so
well
excited.
with
Thank
that.
you
I'm
very
impressed.
And under pressure, too.
I know. Look at that, too.
So quickly. Look
I know.
at for the love of the art. Thank you so much for coming in. One more time for somebody sitting at home, they say, okay, we got to go to Perry. We got to figure this out. When, where, what do they need to know?
Sure. Downtown Perry, Saturday the 12th, and it takes place 8:30 to 4:30. Chalking, vendors, biking, good food, got it all.
You name it, you've got it all.
Megan,
Thank you again.
this was super fun. Thank you very much. I felt like a kid again.
Well,
that was
listen,
awesome. Look at that.
A kid, but you did good artwork,
Thank
too.
you. Thank you very much.
We appreciate it. Thanks again.
Stick around when Arc Rochester returns. Steph will be here breaking down some of our top political headlines.
Your political pulse coming your way next. What, your pulse?
The carotid?
Why are you taking your pulse?
No, it's saying like it's political.
Oh, for political pulse.
Yes.
Oh, I thought something was wrong with you.
No. Still standing. Yeah, time. Maybe like 5.
Good morning.
Hello again. Yes. Feel free to take a seat right there. I think that they're going to get a mic check from you. Let me make sure I can hear correctly.
Try count one more time. It's 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
I got him.
You got him?
He's good.
All right, perfect. I can put it back.
It's time for a political pulse check here on Arc Rochester. We're taking a closer look at the impact a recent funding freeze could have on after-school and summer programs right here at home. The Trump administration is withholding more than $6 billion nationwide in federal funding. Part of that covers after-school and summer programs. Those running them were expecting the money last Tuesday. But now they are under review with the Education Department. In a statement to the Associated Press, officials said, quote, the department remains committed to ensuring taxpayer resources are spent in accordance with the president's priorities and the department's statutory responsibilities. The freeze is causing uncertainty for several organizations, including the Boys and Girls Clubs of America. And for more on the local effect, I'm joined by Dwayne Mahoney, Executive Director of the Boys and Girls Clubs of Rochester. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for being here. I want to put things into perspective for our viewers at home. Can you tell us a little bit about the services and programs that the Boys and Girls Club provide?
Yeah, so we're a national affiliate, local affiliate of the national organization, Boys and Girls Clubs of America. We have 4 sites, so on a daily basis, we're seeing come through our doors close to 400 kids a day through the 4 sites. So they're predominantly after school during the school year from 2:30 to 7 o'clock at night. And then during the summer, we see young people 6 to 18 from 8 in the morning to 6 o'clock at night. Variety of different programs, everything from mandatory reading program for us, STEM, sports, career exploration for our teens, employment for our teens through partnerships with people like Rochester Works, City of Rochester. So it's a variety of different things to, make kids well-rounded as they grow.
Yeah,
in their years.
For sure. I want to pull up a statement that we have from the CEO and president of the Boys and Girls Clubs of America, basically addressing reaction here. There it is on the screen. So he said in part, quote, this is Jim Clark. This funding supports the families of hardworking Americans who count on these services. Club sites and camps could shutter mid-season, upending care for working parents and leaving kids without critical safety nets. What was your reaction to hearing about this funding freeze, was it similar to Jim's?
Yeah, ours, we have, Jim Clark is our national president and has a pulse on what's going on nationwide, and this review that the administration is proposing and is enacted is, detrimental not only just to Boys and Girls Clubs, but to anybody that's receiving 21st century funds. We have some clubs that I know of in the nationwide that if this review, and again, there's no news about how long this will take or if it's even going to, begin to start. We've had some clubs that have already said that they would have to close based on the funding. For us locally, we have a 21st century program at School 53. We've been at School 53 for several years, when it was School 10 and now 53 last year. We would not be able to have programming beginning at the end of August 31st. We have, through some calls through our national organization as well as talking with our state officials through 21st Century, they are prepared to allow programming through the summer, but after the summer, when they start school, there would be no after-school program, and we serve on a daily basis 136 kids at School 53.
And how soon would you have to know if there's any sort of action happening with these funds to make sure that through August 31st or later on that those funds are there for the programs?
Well, even last week was a scramble because last week we didn't even know if the summer was going to be available for the students at 53 school. We found out through the State Department that was going to happen for the summer. Our state has not made any plans that we know of other than to August 31st. There's a few states that may have anticipated this, and they are prepared to have some programming for the school year, but very few. I only know of one or two states that have done that. It's millions of dollars, and it's not easy for a state to absorb that. So we don't know what's going to happen. We would like to know right now, obviously, because within a week or so we're preparing for the school year. It's everything from even just letting our parents know so that they can prepare for what they need to. When you don't have an after-school program, especially for a school like 53 that gets out pretty early for a Montessori school, parents don't have a place for their kids to go. School doesn't go to 5 o'clock, so they rely on an after-school program for the 3 or 4 hours that the after-school program operates, for that they know that their kids are safe, that they're being fed, that they're in a diverse amount of activities that complement their school day learning. There's all kinds of other things. And not to say that I think nationwide, just for clubs, it would be about 6,000 jobs that would be eliminated.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. I have numbers from that statement released by the president and CEO. 926 Boys and Girls Clubs could be forced to shut their doors. 220,000, more than that, actually, 220,000 kids. They could lose access to those supports that you were talking about. And also 5,900 jobs also at stake here as well. I'm wondering, because you brought up a lot of great points about how parents need that childcare after school. Has there been any reaction or concern from that side of things as they're trying to navigate a new school year?
Well, I think right now it's so new that a lot of parents don't even know. It's the summertime. Parents are, some of the parents are finding out there's an after-school program for the summer. The reality that there may not be one for the school year, I don't think has hit parents just yet. But it will. I mean, if this review doesn't take place. So, there's a call to action. Our congressman is very, very active in the sense of how he supports after-school programming. He's been very supportive of the Boys and Girls Clubs, and I'm sure he's supportive of other after-school programs. Again, we're not the only 21st century grantee in Rochester. There are several, and we all going to be impacted in that way. But the call to action is to, as much as possible, talk to our Congress people, talk to the State Department, and try to get a handle on, one, when this review is going to take place, how long will it be, and two, if we can't get answers to that, just letting people know the impact of what a lot of our families are going to be facing with the lack of funding from the 21st century.
Yeah, there are a lot of questions right now, and something we'll continue to pay attention to hopefully get some answers. One more thing that I want to ask you about is, it's one thing to kind of talk about the supports, but what is it like as you've seen students work with students? What is their response to having a program like this?
Well, it's huge. I mean, I think kids, first and foremost, need adults in their lives. And so between staff, volunteers, members of the board of directors of these organizations, they make a tremendous impact. You know, it goes beyond, for us, even your age at the Boys and Girls Club. We have kids that are alumni that we still are putting into jobs. We're helping them. We just had somebody in yesterday that was helping our kids with their college. We have several kids that are going to HBCUs this fall. You know, person came in, volunteered her services to talk to our kids about, here's what you need to do to go online and take your placement test, or you need to call this particular place. So there's so much help and support that our parents may not know about, that people come in and help. So it goes even beyond the ages of 6 to 18. But you know, these programs, the kids in our clubs need these programs to get over those hurdles that they may not be able to get over by themselves.
Right. Thank you so much for sharing that and for being here to provide some more perspective on this story. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And be sure to stay with ARC Rochester for your top political headlines. We're back after this.
It's a little tight. The original design actually had the 8x2 boxes into
Guys in there, which, hello? Is it oh. What's the rep?
1 minute.
Hey, thanks so much for staying with us here on ARC Rochester this Wednesday morning. The gang is all here because it's time for from the ground up.
It was beautiful. This morning, resident garden guy Mark McLean will be showing us some ideas on ways to take ingredients from the garden to the table.
Yeah, McLean is live outside in the ARC garden with registered dietitian and nutritionist Alyssa Strassman. Good morning, Mark.
All right, thanks, guys. Good morning. Yes, and thank you, Alyssa, for coming out here and taking part in, producing some recipes that are family favorites, some storytelling. But the first thing I have to ask, is about first impressions, right? First impressions are super important. Now, last week you came out and you said, well, it's a beautiful garden. You know what?
Yeah.
And I started thinking, well, what about health in a handbasket and from the ground up? Is there any way that we can take these two ideas together and maybe produce something that would be super useful for our audience? So we've got all the herbs and veggies out here that we can talk about. But what do you think?
Well, you know, from last week, I was totally 100% all in. It is very impressive. So I have to say, hats off to everybody involved on the project. But I have to say the first impression is the smell.
Yes.
Like you cannot get over the amazing smells that are in here right now. Like I have, what do I have over here? Thyme and mint to my right.
Yes.
And I'm getting whiffs of that in here,
Yep.
but then just the wood that's in
cedar.
here. Oh my God.
Yeah.
It is this is a great place to take a break, right?
It is. And they just put a fresh coat of linseed oil on everything too, so that's really bringing out that cedar smell. But it is. It really. When we built this, I had other ideas for this, and then as it started coming together, I said, well, this is really more like an outdoor classroom. I mean, honestly, and for the segment that you regularly come in for, I said, let's take this thing outside in the summertime and let's talk about what we could do with some of the stuff that's actually growing out here. Let's do something useful and have some fun with the audience along the way. So we were talking about storytelling, and every family has a different tradition. Every family has a different fun thing that they cook up or something in the summertime. And you've got a couple, and I saw them in the studio already because we're going to go in after the break. But what are we using in the garden today in some of these recipes?
Yeah. So the two recipes that I brought with me today are fond memories that I have of visiting my grandmother in the summertime. We always went to my grandmother's house around this time of year.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we always did when we got there was to look at her garden. Yeah. Now, I will tell you, my grandmother had, and when I say garden, I mean a stretch of grass, right? Literally 2 feet by I don't even know how far long, but it was something that we all had to do. And there is a sense of pride when it comes to growing something. And I think that was something that we always did it was a tradition. We had to go check out all the herbs that she had, the tomatoes that she had. And the two that are standing out to me is iced tea that we always had in summertime, and the mint that she used from her garden.
Yes.
And our job as kids to always go and pluck the mint for that iced tea. And then the other is these wonderful sandwich spreads. My grandmother, when we had lunch at her house, I mean, it was a feast, right?
Yes.
But everything was special. And so even down to slicing a tomato and using parsley on the tomato with, different herbs and seasonings.
How good is that?
It made the sandwich. And I will tell you, to this day, I use fresh herbs and my tomatoes are dressed the same way she does to make the most delicious, wonderful sandwiches. So today we're using mint and parsley, but I'm seeing oregano in here. I'm seeing basil in here. Literally all of these things are things that we had growing in my grandma's, garden, my parents' garden, my garden at home. These are things I use on the daily and the regular.
Sometimes when we're out here watering, it's oops, I bumped my hand into the basil, and then you get a whiff of it.
Well, you saw me just earlier. I'm sitting here you have to, right? There is something about it.
You absolutely have to. I have some memories too. My grandmother was really into the rose garden. So I mean, she was into the flowers and the hybrid tea roses. She had a bunch of those, and we'd go out in the backyard and we'd be kicking the ball around. Don't hit my roses, that kind of thing. But for the recipes, the parsley. My neighbor loves to use some parsley in some of her sauces that she makes, and some of the basil for toppings on pizza. And love that.
Yeah.
So we might be a little bit overplanted, right? Just a little bit. What do you think?
It's
a little tight.
You're making it work. You're doing what you're doing the best you can with what you have,
you're
and
being very kind.
Well, listen. Well, we were talking earlier. I think with gardening, everything you learn by doing, right?
Yes,
and I think there is
Trial and error.
So much, yes, that we can learn just by trying. And there is such a community of people that are willing to share tips and information. And I think that is what I've learned throughout my experience in my own gardening is when you go to a garden store, or you go and talk to someone that is like, who has a passion for gardening.
Expert,
they want to share their knowledge with you.
sure.
And I think that's just part of learning and growing and developing and building a community.
Yeah, it is. It is. This has been a lot of fun out here. So, speaking of trial and error, let's go inside after this break, and we'll have some trial and error. What do we have in the studio? What are we sampling?
We have iced tea, and we have those wonderful tomatoes. Yeah.
Oh, this is going to be good. All right, join us right after the break. We'll be inside sampling some of these delicious recipes.
Yeah, let's get going here. We're sitting here waiting.
Actually, we're already eating some of them while you weren't in the room.
Yeah.
Oh, you're already eating?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Sorry.
It's all
Run
gone
back.
already.
Run back.
All right.
Thank you, too. Hey, and if you are sitting at home saying, you know, I love to make something with a vegetable or something that grows in my own garden, reach out to us. We want to know. We could end up featuring you and your recipe on Arc Rochester. News at 13wham.com is where you can send all of those family recipes.
Yeah, looking forward to hearing from all of you. And don't forget, take us on the go wherever you are. We're streaming live right now. Join us on the 13wham YouTube channel and foxrochester.com. We're back after this.
Oh, I just hold that.
Yeah, you can just hold this.
Okay.
All right, welcome back. We have Mark and Alyssa and Marty and Steph and Dan. And the gang's all here because we are continuing with our From the Ground Up segment.
Yeah, we certainly are. We are back in studio now. The two of you are, and we're going to taste and try some of what we were talking about outside.
Yeah, some of the recipes outside came inside.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the mint is a part of the iced tea recipe, right?
Yes. So super easy. Just boil water. You add your tea bags, and then we make like a concentrated version. So we throw 7 tea bags in, and then you put it in the pitcher. You add, you have to steep the mint in there so that you get a nice mint flavor. And then you add some water, and then you put it in your refrigerator. And then if people want to garnish it, they can put lemon, they can add sprigs of mint if they want. This is unsweetened. We always let people add their own sweetener of preference, and they can sweeten it to their liking at our house. And that's for the iced tea. I mean, super simple. Took very hands-off kind of like recipe.
When you steep the mint, do you chop the mint at all, or just whole leaves?
I literally so this is from my garden. I literally just pluck, a nice sprig of mint and just plop it in there and let the oils ooze out, into the tea.
Yeah. I'll take that leaf that I just my hands all over.
When we were
guys don't end up with that in your drink here.
When you were talking about family recipes and stuff, that just reminded me. My mom, when I was a kid, used to make sun tea.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
We did too.
Oh my gosh, all the time, and I feel like I need to make it this afternoon.
Yeah.
In honor of
Yeah.
her. That
Such a
was like one of
summer
my
recipe.
favorite things.
It
when I was a
literally
kid.
brings you back, to all those memories that you had, growing up, or different people in your lives that did different things, and it really is, it's special, right?
Yeah.
Also, how your taste can change over time. Growing up, the sun tea, I loved it, but only when there was sugar put in it. Now I'm the kind of person where I'll drink it, and if there is sugar, it's too sweet. It's too, you know what I mean?
You mean mint can be used in other recipes too with drinks?
Right.
Other than a mint julep?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Abby, you might want to write this recipe down.
All right. I don't.
But I like that. I've never heard of mint going into teas. That's
Yeah?
that's pretty
Really?
cool. No, I've never heard of that. No.
Want
I've heard of
pork?
sweet tea. That's the only way
Yeah.
to do it
Never
in the
heard
of
South.
mint
but
in tea?
No.
Well, like maybe hot
like
tea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think some of the types that we have up in the in our break room have that in there, but I've never actually seen someone do that. It's
Okay.
great idea. I like it.
All right, Alyssa, let's talk about the tomatoes.
The tomatoes.
Yes.
Okay, so the tomatoes are very simple. All you do is get a tomato, you slice it. I put a little salt, pepper, garlic powder. This is how my grandmother did it, for lunches, very easy. And then a drizzle of olive oil. And then you can use that to top your sandwiches with, or eat on their own, or however you enjoy them. But I'm telling you, they really make a sandwich. If you didn't have
good.
parsley,
Yeah.
you could always do basil. I know people are familiar with,
Love basil.
Basil and tomato and those caprese salads. But at my grandma's house, Grandma Federico, she did this with parsley for our lunchtime sandwiches.
Particular kind of tomato?
Well, I chose local. So anytime I see local, that's what I'm buying. So
Okay.
right now we have those hothouse tomatoes, and if it says local, that's the one I'm choosing because their flavor is just out of
Bar
the
none
world.
better?
Yeah,
All right.
you have to go with the
Yeah.
local.
The ones out in the garden are celebrity tomatoes.
Are they?
Yes.
Oh, God, very fitting.
Dan.
for Mark McLean. TV's Mark McLean.
Let's sample some of those.
Yeah, let's go for it. Pour that iced
Can I
tea,
pour it?
McLean.
Yeah. All right.
Get pouring. So favorite type of I got two favorite types of
Yeah.
tomatoes.
Pouring
Not
too
a
fast.
beefsteak tomato kind of person.
Yeah. No.
I like cherry tomato, and I like a tomato on the vine.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Tomato on
Yeah,
the vine.
those
You
are the
could
best.
Eat those.
What about
Just like
heirlooms?
an apple. Oh, very good.
Those,
very
I love an
good.
heirloom.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you talk about
I like
taste
them all.
changing.
You like them all?
I do like them all. Yeah.
That's one thing I never liked as a kid is tomatoes, but now that looks delicious to me.
Oh,
I
yeah.
never liked the texture as a kid.
Love me
Go
a
this
good
way.
Here,
tomato.
you have this. I'm gonna have a tomato.
You already have
You
it.
guys
Okay.
enjoy
Yeah,
it.
all right.
This is part of the daily.
Do we put is the mint is already and the lemon is already parted?
The mint is in here. We leave the lemon out and then let people add it if they want. So
No,
if you
I'm
want
good.
to
I'm
slice
gonna
the
just go
lemon,
mint.
Take a slice.
Yeah.
Marty?
This looks great.
Would you?
Oh,
you got one.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Terrific.
All right.
Hey,
Cheers,
stick around.
cheers.
When ARC Rochester returns, we're looking ahead to a special event series that promotes a very special initiative.
We're back after
Taste
this.
the mint. Mm.
Yeah, it's very good.
Hula hoop. I was like, oh my God, I would die.
They were just like, oh, it's time for you guys to hula hoop. And I was like, no.
Is that what happened? On the spot.
Natalie, no.
What's that, guys?
Just one of us. Yeah, he's still waiting for a mic.
Here you go. Thanks.
9:49 this Wednesday morning. There's going to be 4 events over the next few months designed to keep the arts alive. The Genesee Valley Council on the Arts hosting those events to support arts funding it fears is coming.
Yeah, several local bands are giving their time and talents to the events. The first one happening this Sunday at the Iron Smoke Distillery in Fairport.
Yeah, for more, we have with us this morning the executive director of the Genesee Valley Council on the Arts, Morgan Hellquist, and musician Eli Flynn from Eli and the Everyman. Good morning. Thank you both so much for waking up bright and early and coming in.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Absolutely. So talk to us. How did this idea come to be?
Yeah, absolutely. So, all of a sudden come January, we started to get notifications that our grant funding opportunities were being removed and some of our grants were canceled. And we started to think, how do we continue to serve the region? How do we continue to serve artists? And so with a really great staff and team, in about 10 days, we flipped our entire schedule for 2025, motivated to finding ways to employ artists, raise some funds, and be able to secure programming for next year.
It seems like everybody kind of came together for that, right? Everybody dropped what they were doing, dropped their plans, and said, okay, time to switch gears. How did that work?
Yeah, we were really fortunate with a great brainstorming group, right? Starting to think about what does it mean in our region to have arts experiences? What would people be interested in attending? And we're so fortunate we have a brand new program director, Natalie Marino, super familiar with artists and musicians in the area. And she thought, I have some friends. Let's see if they would be able to support and help out.
Exactly. Yeah, we're really excited to be part of this. All of us have been exploited in one way or another in the past as working artists and working creatives. So this is an opportunity to support the mission of employing artists and employing musicians. And great bands are going to be part of this celebration. It's going to be Head to the Roots, Eli Flynn and the Everyman, Jackson Cavalier, Judah, and other really, really great players that have been working really hard around that region. So.
Eli, with your band particularly, what kind of, what's the genre of music? What's the style?
I would call it a little bit of rock and roll, a little bit of soul, a little bit of funk, a little bit of jazz. All of those influences are a big part of why we are musicians, right? Because we're all big fans of music, as well as performers. And I was just saying that this is a great opportunity for us to all be in the same room together because we are so busy and we do work so hard. So that's the other reason why this is a very special performance for all of us.
Why is it so important, and this may seem like a silly question, but why is it so important for musicians and artists to have that support, to have backing and a little bit of reassurance?
Sure, I think a lot of people think the overnight story happens overnight, right? But it doesn't. It happens with a lot of grassroots organizations such as this one and a lot of behind the scenes action. So that's a big reason why we're championing for this local support in the same way that nothing gets to the next level without the local support. I mean, that's the biggest part. And your biggest fan, your biggest artist didn't get there overnight. It's all part of a long and hard-working journey.
So 4 events planned for this summer. What can people at home sitting on the couch this morning trying to fill the summer schedule, what can they expect?
Yeah, so it's all centered around keeping the arts alive. So we have live music, which is the first one, live dance, which goes back to traditional arts. So that's a square dance, chicken barbecue, an opportunity to come out and learn about some old traditions in our region. It's a stay alive haunted house, which is a really fun way, a little twist to be able to have our theatrical performers come out and be involved in the 10,000 square foot haunted house experience. And the last one is live and local. It's a holiday market where we're selling, the artists are selling their local vendor goods, craftsmen from all across the region to be able to shop local this holiday season and help them to really like wrap off the year. And yeah, we're excited about it.
And I think the people at home would be excited about it too. It seems like you've kind of got a little something for everybody covered, right?
Absolutely.
Very
yeah,
good.
That's the goal, absolutely. We want people to feel like arts are accessible, whether or not you're a young student, whether or not you're an established artist who's looking to make new connections. We want something that everyone feels that they could be a part of.
And we're kicking things off with the music. To put that on the calendar now, what do people need to know? When, where?
Absolutely, yeah.
How do they do this?
Sunday, Iron Smoke. It's from doors open at 2 to 7. We have 5+ bands coming out. It's a wonderful experience. Grab a drink, grab some food. It's all day. Really looking forward to it. I think you mentioned most of them. I think November Blue is also in there with another opener, and so really looking forward to people joining us.
And quickly to plan ahead for the the later in the year stuff. What's the website they go to find all of that?
Absolutely. We're at gvarts.org, so looking forward to people coming out and seeing us there.
Very
Perfect.
good. Thank you both so much for your time today. We appreciate it. And as always, all the event information goes over on foxrochester.com.
9:54. Stick around when Arc Rochester returns this morning. Our final thoughts.
We're back after this.
Real thick yesterday.
Yeah, it was stubborn.
Don't roll your eyes at me.
Greetings.
1 minute.
Welcome back. Time for our final thoughts of the morning on Arc Rochester. Good stuff today. Really good stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Best bits.
I like the food.
Yeah.
The tomatoes are great. Like I was saying, I did not like tomatoes as a kid.
Yeah.
But those are great. I finally turned around. These are great.
How about mint in tea?
I know.
It was something new for me.
Discovery.
Refreshing.
You could taste it, but it wasn't like overwhelming.
Right,
know?
yeah.
I mean, it was just the perfect amount for that iced tea.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
I would add more. I like a little tea with my mint. I do. I do. I killed my mint plant.
Oh,
though.
no. Oh, we've got some out there. We've got some
I
out
did.
there.
I just. Huh?
You didn't water it?
Oh no, I watered it.
Probably.
It just did not.
Did it go yellow and then just kind of fade away?
No,
No?
it just
faded
went
away.
brown.
Oh, no.
It just
faded
went
away.
brown. I used it twice, and that was it. But
Well,
what are you gonna do?
Do you have
I'll
to be
just have to
mindful
start
of harvesting it?
raid our garden.
Yeah, if you don't, the leaves will fade if you don't harvest them close to when they're ready. I mean, you got weeks to get out there.
Yeah.
It's not like they're going to be gone tomorrow, but.
I'll get another one from the garden out back. Hey, that does it for us here on Arc Rochester. Make sure to wake up with us again tomorrow morning starting at 4:57 over on
13 Wham ABC. Join Steph and Mark there later today for 13 Wham News at midday.
Bye.